So today I'm going to be annotating a book for the first time ever. I love how annotated books look and I've wanted to try it for quite some time, but honestly, I don't often find myself having a lot of thoughts when I'm reading. I do read a lot of fantasy, and in the past I have used tabs to mark things like world building or foreshadowing, mainly for my own reference so I can flip back to them later if I need a refresher or something crops up in the plot that I can tie into an earlier moment. Honestly, I do also read a lot of mediocre books as well, and I always worry that I'll go into something looking to annotate and end up essentially defacing a book that I don't care about and will be looking to unhaul as soon as I've finished. When I read The Hating Game for the first time back in 2022, I fell in love with it, and it very quickly became my favourite contemporary romance, a title that it still holds. And while I don't usually feel like it's necessary for me personally to own romance books in hardback, I picked up a Fairy Loot Special Edition as it is a favourite. Normally when I do this, I unhaul any paperback editions I have, but I had an idea that maybe this could be a book that I could annotate. For me, contemporary romance feels like the perfect genre for annotation, as it's one of the genres that I get most emotionally invested in when I do enjoy it, meaning I have more thoughts and feelings that I can hopefully jot down in the margins. It also feels a lot safer for me to permanently mark the pages as I've read the book before, and so I know it's not going to tail off in the second half and leave me underwhelmed with a half-written in book that I don't want to keep on my shelves forever. I am a type A kind of person, so before I actually dove in and started scribbling on the pages, I wanted to make sure that I was doing it right, which I know is subjective, as annotating for fun is more an expression of enjoyment than it is an academic exercise. But that's just who I am as a person. So I did some research on YouTube into annotation supplies and how to annotate, and I'll leave some of those resources linked for you down below if you're also looking to get started. I did definitely want to keep this simple and not overcomplicate matters, so I kept the supply list small. The pen I'm using is a Pilot G2 with a 0.7 nib, which was recommended by Bella from Throne of Pages. She did recommend a smaller nib size, but I couldn't find anything smaller in my local stationery stores, so I just picked up the 0.7, and I can confirm it writes beautifully and it is very smooth. I did buy a pack of the Zebra Mild Liners, which I feel are the go-to annotation highlighters, as they're slightly less inky than some other brands, so less likely to transfer, and these worked really well for me too. I wanted to coordinate all the colours I used with the cover of the book, which is what I do when I'm tabbing fantasy, so I got the fluorescent mild liners as I needed a yellow and a blue. The tabs I'm using are my go-tos from Paperchase, which has unfortunately shut down now, but I did stock up before they closed. I do believe that you can find some comparable tabs on Amazon as well. Of course, I once again was only going to be using yellow and blue to coordinate with the highlighters, and like I said, I was trying to make this more about expression and not overcomplicate it, so I went in with a rough idea of what I wanted each of the colours to mean, but I didn't write myself a key so that I didn't feel locked into anything and I could be a little bit more fluid about it. If you've read The Hating Game, then you'll know that the colour blue is very significant to the story, and so I use blue in my annotation to symbolise anything resembling foreshadowing, recurring themes and symbols, or any indications to the male main character's feelings. As you may know if you're already familiar with my channel, the he falls first trope is my absolute favourite, and this is where it all started for me. Yellow was the colour that I used for any favourite moments or lines, things that I just wanted to pick up on or maybe refer back to. You'll notice that sometimes I didn't place a tab where my highlights were. I also have a couple of moments that I picked out and commented on in pen that I didn't highlight, and both of these are moments that I feel like I'd want to see my previous thoughts on if I reread, but I probably wouldn't want to flip to these and reread them on a whim. As I said at the beginning of the video, I love how annotated books look, and I know that some people go really hard when annotating. I haven't done this here, and there's pages and pages that I haven't marked at all, mainly because I'm just a beginner learning as I go, and I feel like if I do annotate more in the future, the amount of annotations will grow along with my confidence. I started off pretty much just highlighting with the occasional comment, but as I got further into the book, I feel like I started to pick more out of the text and also draw in brackets around larger paragraphs where I wanted to pick out a line or a number of lines that I enjoyed but felt like needed the wider context of the paragraph to fully appreciate them. I'll be honest and say that my main drive to annotate was the aesthetics. I love the idea of having a well-loved book marked with critiques, thoughts and moments that resonated with me, but I actually genuinely didn't think that I would get much out of this experience, that I would essentially create a visual illusion of connection to the text as opposed to developing a stronger connection to the text through the process of annotation. I was hoping that interacting with the book in a more physical way would add to the experience of the story, as I felt a pull towards things like journaling and annotation this year in a way that I never have before, but I wasn't expecting to feel as fulfilled as I did throughout this process. I feel like interacting with the book in this way forced me to slow down a little and pick out little quotes that I missed the first time, which is the beauty of rereading in the first place, but marking the pages of a book that I loved so much felt like a very subtle way of imprinting myself and my reading experience on the paper. I do also feel like filming the process encouraged me to lock in and focus, ignoring all distractions and becoming immersed. I felt like this would ultimately feel like a chore, especially with the added pressure of the video, but it actually provided the really intimate reading experience I was hoping for when I had this idea a few years ago. My relationship with the romance genre has changed over the last few years, mainly due to hormonal reasons, which I have talked about on my channel in the past, so I sadly can't say that this swept me away quite as thoroughly as it did on the first read through when I consumed the whole book in a day while spending a weekend in bed with COVID. But I feel like revisiting the story highlighted the moments I loved on my first read and brought a lot of those feelings back, with the annotation adding an extra dimension. For those of you who are unfamiliar with The Hating Game, it is a hate-to-love office romance following two people in the publishing industry with the same job. They originally started working for separate publishers, but the two companies merged due to financial hardship, and so Lucy and Josh, assistants to the co-CEOs of the publishing house, sit in the same room every day, hating each other and coming up with subtle mind games to pass the time and further get under each other's skin. Their animosity for each other really comes to a head when a new position opens up that they will both be competing for, and they make a pact that if one of them gets the job, the other one is going to resign. What Lucy doesn't realise, however, is how fine the line is between love and hate. Something I had forgotten about this book is how much I love the humour. Lucy's narrative is kind of goofy and eccentric, and like with Talia Hibbert's Brown Sisters trilogy, reminded me a lot of the Confessions of Georgia Nicholson series, which essentially raised me. The distinctive writing style did take some time to get used to, but I feel like upon reread I fell into it instantly and was able to appreciate it a lot more, especially the way the colour is used throughout the book and the expression of Lucy's humour and voice. This was my first time coming into contact with the he falls first trope, which has now been cemented as my favourite since I've been reading from Ali Hazelwood, and I feel like Sally Thorne handles it with a lot of subtlety that probably contributed a lot to why I adored this book the first time around. I also really like the pairing of a devoted yet closed off male main character and a female main character who is oblivious to what is happening right in front of her face, something that this book once again introduced me to but was cemented by Ali Hazelwood in recent years. I'm not sure whether this is just because the book is a few years old now, but Josh is not the perfect love interest, which I actually appreciate more for some reason. It's constantly brought up that he's not a nice guy, and when we get into his complicated relationship with his messy family, you can see direct lines between their relationship and his behaviour as an adult, both within the way he's been made to feel about himself, but also in behaviours that he's clearly learned from his father, and also his difficulty in expressing himself. For me, this made him feel more realistic, as he's not a bad guy, but he definitely has flaws, and I find that more interesting than the 2D perfect man that I feel is often represented in the romance I've read. Essentially, if you haven't read The Hating Game yet, then I definitely recommend you give it a go, especially if you're a fan of messy hate-to-love relationships with a goofy female main character. And if you want to see any more videos like this from me in the future, then do please let me know in the comments. I have paperbacks of The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood set aside to hopefully reread and annotate in the future, but the process of annotating The Hating Game has made me feel a lot more eager to try out some other genres too, so do let me know what you think. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the music and the rest of the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.